those of us that are on the Sunday Services Committee and others that are part of preparing for services, we need to get our information to Bradley 2 weeks ahead of time, which is just fine. So I gave these hymns to Bradley, these 3 hymns that we're singing today. I gave them to Bradley 2 weeks ago, and they're all about singing. Have you noticed that yet? They're all about singing. All 3 of them are about singing. And interestingly, last night in Minneapolis, 1,000 people gathered at a church to sing. Just to sing together. I also wanted to share with you that Kelly told me that, there were on Friday, there were clergy from all over the country that went to Minneapolis. None were injured, as far as she knows. The 100 clergy members that were detained, were they arrested or just detained? I'm not sure. They've all been released, just so you know. So today, we're going to talk about the hero's journey. In 1949, Joseph Campbell wrote a book entitled The Hero with 1,000 Faces. Many of you have probably read that book. Many of you have maybe read it many times. Campbell was a professor of literature who is best known as his work in comparative mythology. He wrote many books over his long career. Some of you may remember him from his TV interviews with Bill Moyers. Remember that in the late 80s? Entitled The Power of Myth, which, by the way, you can check out on DVD at the library or you can stream it. It's out there. In The Hero with 1,000 Faces, Campbell presented the journey of the archetypal hero, which is shared by mythologies from all over the world. He believed that a common pattern existed beneath the elements of most great myths, regardless of where they came from or their time in the world. There are many, many heroes listed in this book. You might know some of the following people: Moses, Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, and Odysseus from Homer's The Odyssey. Campbell described the basic structure of the hero's adventure, 3 words: the departure, the initiation, and the return. Those were the 3 basic steps of his adventure. But more specifically, it was leaving the familiar, answering the call to adventure. Maybe you can think of something in your life where you left something that was comfortable and went on to something else. Receiving aid from many sources, including the beyond. Letting go, falling into the unknown, wandering in the unknown, the darkness, and finally, returning home. George Lucas credited Campbell's work as influencing his Star Wars saga. Think about Luke Skywalker's journey. Lucas and Campbell went on to become very good friends. The hero's journey can be found in any other modern-day tales, such as The Wizard of Oz, which is why I asked Peggy to play Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Wicked. How many of you are familiar with Wicked? I expect to see quite a few hands going up. All right. It's a Wonderful Life. The Odyssey. The Odyssey was written by Homer many, many, many years ago, but perhaps you've seen the more modern-day movie with George Clooney and the Coen brothers called Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Oh, you're all saying, oh. It's a more modern telling of the hero's journey. In these stories, there's a seeker looking for answers, often with no directions. There's no turn right at the next intersection. Along the way, the seeker receives hints, advice. Maybe he or she has a dream, a vision. He learns to get rid of old thoughts, to let go, to release. He learns what's really important. He learns to give thanks, to appreciate what he has learned. He finally discovers that he had what he was seeking all along. Resistance occurs if we're not following the path that others want us to follow. Have you ever encountered resistance? But we have to follow our own path, which might be viewed as wrong or unacceptable to others. As Joseph Campbell said, if you can see your path laid out in front of you step by step, it's not your path. Your own path you make with every step you take. That's why it's your path. Another of Campbell's famous quotes is, "We must be willing to get rid of the life we've planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us. The old skin has to be shed before the new one can come." So there is a very ancient Chinese Qigong program that I think blends with what Campbell was saying very, very clearly. And to do that, I'm going to invite you to stand up. And I'm going to invite younger people to come forward and sit in come right up here in front, depending on how young you are. Yeah. So you're going to need to spread out, you guys, so you don't bump each other. So we start by following the seeker, the hero. This is our humble hero who has traveled to the temple. He wants to study, he wants to work, he wants to prove his readiness, he wants to be initiated, and eventually he wants to receive the golden elixir of immortality. Wow. So I envision him as traveling through maybe rain, what else? Snow, wind, hail. Yeah, that's no good. Pile of cats, possibly. So we start by doing the 4 precious warm-ups. This is our hero's steps of preparation. So he's outside the temple door. He's outside. And what would you do when you want to go in someplace? What would you do? Knock on the door, or you would stand like this?
Open up.
Or maybe there's a bell to ring. In this story, there's a gong. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to ring the temple bell or gong. Our feet are a couple of feet apart, and we're just going to do this. Nice and easy and slow. He's hopeful. He's full of expectations. But he's very impatient. He's saying what you just said, open up. It's starting to rain. They see him. The people inside the temple, they see him. They look at him. He knows they're looking at him. And then stop. But do they let him in? They don't let him in. And he's kind of puzzled by this. He doesn't understand. He expected he'd walk all this way and he could just get right into the temple. But no. So now he's scratching his head and he's thinking, well, what else can I do? So he brings one foot forward and he kind of rocks back and forth like this. And then he brings his hands up and he pushes and he pulls. And we do this real slow. He pushes and he pulls. This is called dispel and absorb. See if you can inhale when you bring your hands back and exhale when your hands go forward. Or just breathe. So what's he doing here? He's pushing away obstacles in his way. He's pushing away blockages.
Ew.
He's pulling in new stuff, fresh chi, fresh energy. And he's thinking, this is it. This will really work. And then let's do it on the other side. So we'll do that same motion on the other side. Pushing away old stuff, pushing away old thoughts. And we're not touching others, we're just pushing away old things. We're pulling in new information. And then we stop. And does the temple door open? No. He can't figure this out. What's happening here? I'm doing the best I can. And he's trying to think of what else can he do because he really wants to get in that temple. He's on a journey. He's come this long distance. He wants to get in the temple. So he does something that's called gather and release. We all spend years gathering things. We gather concepts. We gather patterns, right? We spend a long time gathering all these things. But sometimes we need to let go of what we've gathered over the years, and that's what we're going to do now. So we come down to one side and we pick up something that's very precious to us, and we bring it in the center. So everybody's holding something different. It might be a dream you've always had that you wanted to do this or be this. It could be a project you've been working on for a long time. Could be a relationship, the relationship you have with your parents or your siblings or your teachers. And we hold on to that, and then we bring our hands to this side, and what do we do with it? We let it go. Can you let it go? And then we reach down on this side and we pick up something precious and we hold it right in the center. It could be material things. It's possible. It could be the caring you're doing for someone that you love. It could be an idea that you've had, and we bring it to the other side and we let it go. And we gather something else up, very precious, and we hold it in the center. Think about what it is. We go to the side, and we let it go. And we gather one more time. What are you gathering? What are you gathering? What's very precious to you? What you always want to keep, but maybe it's time to let it go. And then we let it go. And now come back in the center and think about what you let go of. What did you let go of? What was the precious thing that you let go of? Something very precious.
My
So, and we can bring our hands down. So, has the temple door opened? What do you think? Was this enough to open the temple door? No. No, it wasn't. So he's really concerned now. He's really, really concerned as to why the temple door isn't opening when he's tried so hard. He's done all these things. He's come from this great distance. He's still standing outside the temple. Maybe it's like tornado weather. Maybe it's really, really, really windy and everything's blowing around. Maybe it's raining. Maybe it's hailing. Maybe it's snowing. And he's cold. And he wants in, and he's hungry. He's traveled a long way. But nope. There's something in his path. So he thinks, well, I'm going to do this. And he gathers from the sky and the earth, gathers energy from the sky and the earth. So we bring our arms out to the side, and keep your heads up. Don't lean forward. And do a little bit of a plie squat here and come down, gather from the earth, and bring it up to your heart. And then gather up to the sky. And everything that you've gathered, you're going to let pour through your body, all the way down, all the way down. Nice and slow, 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 slow. And then we gather from the rich earth again, from the flowers, the plants, and we bring it up to the level of our heart. And then we gather up maybe from the sun this time, or maybe the moon, all this fresh energy, and we let it pour down through our bodies. We let it pour all the way down. All the way down. And we're going to do it one more time. So we gather from our rich earth. We bring it up to the level of our hearts. And then this time, let's gather from the stars above, all the way down, bringing that fresh energy down. And so what do you think? Do you think that was enough?
No.
You don't think? You're right. You're right. So now we do the 3 very precious gestures, which are the steps of initiation that our hero has to go through. So at our center, everyone, it's calm. It's calm in our center. Did you know that? Did you know that there's a place inside you that's calm all the time? But everything else happens, and we forget about that. We don't realize that we've got a place that's calm. But spinning around us, all the way around us, all the time, is something that's called the 10,000 things. And if you read the, by Lao Tzu, if you read the Tao Te Ching, thank you, the 10,000 things are mentioned a lot. So what are these 10,000 things? They're anything that comes between you and that calm place. Anything. It could be something to do with your physical body. It could be something to do with, I'm trying to think of some things the kids might, homework, thank you. I was thinking, what can the kids, something to do with your teacher. It could be anything that gets in place with this calm place that you have inside you. Anything. Anything. But we have to kind of figure out what are the important 10,000 things. So we hold our hands loose here in the front of our bodies, and we take one hand and we go around like this, and we turn, we look behind, and then we come forward. And the 10,000 things are spinning around our bodies. And we see something that we really want to keep. We really want to keep this. And we reach out beyond the circle of the 10,000 things, and we bring it back to that place in the center where we're calm. And then we go to the other side. And we come back again. And we see something else. You think to yourself, don't say it out loud, but think to yourself, what is something really, really precious that I want to keep forever? And bring it back. It's out there, isn't it? And then we'll do it again. And maybe it's something over here. Could be an idea, could be a person, could be some sort of a concept, could be a plan that you've had in place for a long time. Let's go to the other side. We still see those 10,000 things whirring around. And then maybe there's something up here that I want to keep. And we keep those important things right here at our core where it's calm. But do the temple gates open? No. Not yet. Not yet. And he sees people inside the temple. He knows they're in there. And they're watching him. And he can't figure this out. He's gone this long distance. He hasn't had anything to eat. He's really hungry. He's cold. And he can't figure this out. So then we do waiting at the temple gate. So he's outside the temple gate and he's trying to figure out what he can possibly do next so that they will let him in the temple. So he brings his arms around like this, and he comes in front and he puts his hands together like this. And he thinks about how much he appreciates nature, the earth, the sky. And so what he does is he brings his hands, and again, don't go too far down, the older young people in the audience. So he bends forward and he thanks Mother Earth. And then he reaches his arms up and he expresses gratitude to Father Sky. And he brings his hands to his heart. And he thinks he better do this again. So he reaches his arms around, comes up in the front, and he says a simple thank you to Mother Earth. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Father Sky, to the sun and the moon and the stars. He's still waning. Nobody's come. So he does it one more time. So he brings his arms around to the front. And he bows. Mother Earth, Father Sky, and brings his hands down. And he's waiting. And what happens next? He said thank you. What happens next? They let him in. You are right. They let him in. They open the door and they let him in. And he's received and he's accepted. He becomes part of the temple community, but he's still waiting for that golden elixir of immortality. So he has to go to classes. He has to do homework. He's got assignments to do. He's not sure. He has all these different teachers. Finally, he's given the golden elixir. And they give it to him in a little tiny thing that he holds in his hands. He holds it in his palms. His fingers are touching. And he brings this golden elixir up to his mouth. He pours it into his mouth and he swallows it. Can you swallow? And then he forms a yoga mudra with his fingers and finally brings his arms all the way up. He's looking at the sky. He's thinking about his eternal nature, his immortality. He brings his hands all the way down to below his belly button. He holds his hands there. And you know what he discovered? He had what he was seeking all along. He already was who he needed to be. He had forgotten the truth of who he was. And now he understood the nature of immortality, not as an intent of living forever, but as a way to experience peace in the present moment. And he had it already. Do you remember at the end of The Wizard of Oz?
No.
Glinda says to Dorothy, "You've always had the power." And the Scarecrow says, "Why didn't you tell her?" And Glinda says, "She had to do it for herself." So go ahead and sit down and go back to your seats. T.S. Eliot once said in one of his poems, "We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of our exploring will be to arrive where we started and know the place for the first time."